Hello. In this next short video, we're going to be making some changes to one of our current workflows already being used by our team. Facilities inspection, we need to add an extra step and we're going to improve some of the flow of the workflow for our workers. So we're going to add something called FormView and loop mode. And what that will do is it will collect a number of input steps into one form so they can see them all in one place and input them as they're going through them. And the loop mode means that if they see something else they need to repeat the inspection with, they can just do another same set of steps over and over again, all in that related to that particular area that they're checking. So first thing we're going to do is we need to add this extra step. We've got the lighting condition and we've got a floor condition check, and they're prompted and asked, is everything okay? If it's a no, they go and record the issues. If everything is okay, they go on to the next step. So I'm going to bring in another area that I want them to check, which is going to be called the fire and emergency exits. So let's just copy over from our original inspection, and we're going to call this step number 3, and just drop in there what it is that I want them to do. So we've got some particular questions that they need to follow, which I'll just put in here as well. Just check that's all reading okay, that's fine for them. So press complete on it. So what that means is that when they finish this second, the floor condition, if there were any issues, instead of it going into other rooms, I'm going to pull it down and put it into this room here, into this next step, which is to ask in fire and emergency. The same with the floor condition, yes, that also needs to go into this one here as well. So I've now just changed the flow and the direction of this workflow, added in an extra step. Now what I would also need to do, the same yes and no, is everything okay or are there some issues? So instead of having to add all these different boxes the same again, they're exactly the same. I can just copy that group, just press Ctrl C and then paste it, bring this down here, and then I can link that up if there is a problem. If there is no problem, then I can link that one going through to there. So I'll just call them yes and no, and the first one that you press will come on top of the software app when it's presented to the person on their mobile. So I'll do yes first and then I'll do no next. Now equally, when they finish recording any issues, that also needs to finish and go through to the same place. If I just press a validate process up here, you'll see that if I send them into here and I don't continue the flow of the workflow and connect it, I won't be able to publish that and they wouldn't be able to continue a workflow. So I can just literally drag another arrow and go into the same connector box there. So they'll be asked questions on the emergency exits. If they're all clear, everything's okay, straight into checking are there other rooms. When they record any issues, finish that, straight into checking all the other rooms. So let's just go in and check when we go into additional rooms. There's some changes that we've made here as well to say, select the area that you're in, whether it's one of these different places. And we're going to make it a fixed mode because we want to do it one at a time. And I've got a map in there and I've got a little web link to show them and help them if they get stuck on finding their way around. But the reason there's a bit of an indicator here is I've asked them a question here, are there other rooms? And I haven't given them a yes or a no. So if it's yes, there are other rooms, I want them to go back in to the same process up here, give us an idea of the room condition, record any issues, which is exactly the same group step that we saw last time, and then finish. If there are no other rooms, by ticking no onto this here and inputting no, and if I revalidate that, that all works now as a process for them. So if I just close this down, the other thing we wanted to do is improve the speed of running through this workflow, and that's called a loop step or a form view. So what you do when you're in the group here that you want these to be repeated and shown to the person in one go, then I can simply highlight these little 3 buttons here, tick form view and tick loop mode, and I can go and do the same with this group over here, form view and loop mode, and I can do the same with this one over here, form view and loop mode. And not forgetting, in additional rooms I've also got a group there that has got the same steps in it. It's got form view already ticked, so I don't need to do a loop mode on that, because if they are going to record issues against another room, it's not in that particular room, they're going to record it against a different room. So I'll leave the loop mode turned off. Form view will just mean they see everything all in one go. So if I just go back here now and just do another validation to check everything is working okay, I've got no error messages. The last thing I want to do is to put more of an instruction step, more of a guide as to what to expect in doing this piece of work. Here they've gone straight into selecting the area without any identification or notice of what to expect. So I'm going to pull an instruction step over, and I'm going to call this instruction step weekly building safety inspection. So I'll just copy in the format that we've already got in our current processes and the same underneath, just to describe exactly what we need from them. Now if at any time I needed to pull in a floor map or an interior map or anything else that I wanted to pull in there, I can add that in there, and I can also add a little note in there saying see attached photos for guidance. So that will also pop up in their eyeline as they're going through this process, so that prompts them again to use these attachments to what we call assets or resources. If I wanted to, I could also add a web link in here as well, so when they click on that it will go through to a particular website, which may be helpful for them seeing the map of the building or wherever they need to go. So now I've created the instruction step. I'm going to make it a bit more helpful for somebody. Just link the start into that, and then it continues on from there. That is now, if I just validate that, that is now a new update to that process. So how do I publish this? Well, I can do two things. I can either, let me save the workflow first, but I can either export it to a zip, and then that zip file can be added onto the team server through the web client, or as you can see here, I've got an option to publish to server. I'm going to publish it straight to the server. I do have options here to create a brand new workflow, but I don't want to do that. I want to overwrite the one that's already there because I want to give a new updated version of it. I can set it to approval or draft. Approval and draft means that it won't be published live until somebody else goes in and has a look at the workflow and runs it on their device and checks it and signs off on it. In this case, we're going to set it straight to approval. We're going to update the workflow. We're going to replace the one that's already there. So that's all gone through okay. And then on if I go through to my workflows and go through to the facilities inspection workflow that we just talked about, that is here, you can see I've now gone to version 13, which has literally just happened. That is now overridden version 12, which was updated a little while ago. Only one live version will be running at any one time. So what does this look like for a user? So if we go to the mobile device and we look at the mobile app and we look at the Workflow Plus app, you'll see this will also update automatically because I've set it to refresh and pull down any changes. So my team don't need, and I've done that in the administration panel. The team don't need to be involved in that. So I press new job and I go and look for my facilities inspection. So here it is, and it's just showing me the detail. I can start the job. You can see it's only just been updated. There's my warning note that's guiding to say see attached photos. This is my interior map, which is a web link, which is going through to whatever intranet site I may need that I've put in there. Or I can open up the floor map itself and I can just expand it, move it around. So that's my little asset that's going to help me decide where to go. Now, as I move through the process and I select the area that I'm in, I'm only selecting one area at a time. I'm going to say that the lighting condition isn't very good, so we'll see what FormView looks like. And there straight away, instead of seeing individual steps, I'm seeing them all collected together. And the loop mode is governed by this next button here, because if I go and I press next, I haven't inputted anything yet, but you can see I'm recording issue 2 of 2. That's the second issue in that area that I want to record and take photos and rate the importance of it. So that's a very quick way just to go from your editor here, make some changes to it. I've got full permissions to publish it. It's gone out to the workforce. As soon as they refresh their jobs or they sign or they kind of turn their device on and off again, they're back in and it's refreshed all the workflows for them.